In this video, I'm running down 5 indie comics you need to read. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is Top 5, where I list a bunch of things that I'm digging in comics. And today, we're talking about 5 indie comics that I think you should check out. I've been having a lot of fun with via our channel sponsor, GlobalComix. Now, GlobalComix is a comic book reading app. They're available for iOS, Android, and even on the web in your favorite browser. And you can check them out right now as well. I've been digging through their library for the last couple of weeks, and I have thoroughly enjoyed almost everything that I've read there. Now, I have been championing GlobalComix as like this great haven for indie comics, and they absolutely are. They've got publishers like Dark Horse and AWA, and there's even a crowdfunding spotlight where you can look at previews of books that are crowdfunding right now. But as of today, as of right now, when you're watching this, a brand new publisher has just entered the group, and I'm pleased to announce that DC Comics are now available on the GlobalComix app. That's right. Over 100 titles from DC are available, including Tom King's Batman, the Rebirth era of Wonder Woman, Joker by James Tynion IV, Static, Shadows of Dakota, Static, the Rebirth of the Cool. There's even titles that are like Black Label and Vertigo, like Sandman and Watchmen, that haven't been available in a service like this before. So I am very, very excited to report that you can now check all of those DC titles out, along with comics from a lot of your favorite indie publishers. And so check out GlobalComix. If you go to the link in the description of this video and use the code GCXBJKicks, then you can get 33% off your annual subscription. That takes the price down from about $90 to about $60 for an annual pass. You can read all the comics you want for just that low annual fee. So check them out. Links in the description down below. And now let's get into 5 indie comics that I am really, really excited about. Now, the first one that I have been checking out is from Humanoids. It's a graphic novel. It's called Urban Legends. Now, Urban Legends is a book. It's written by Nick Bruno and Paul Downs, and then the art is done by Michael Yates. Now, Urban Legends, it was written, I believe, to be an original graphic novel, and you can find it in that form on GlobalComix. But the way I've been interacting with it is as a vertical. Basically, GlobalComix has teamed up with all of these publishers to create sort of web comic versions of some of their bigger hits. And so Humanoids has a vertical version of Urban Legends. It divides it up into these nice short chapters that you can just scroll with on your phone. As a matter of fact, let me just show you. So what I love about Urban Legends, this story is basically, it's a story about this kid named Dwayne. After his mom passes, his dad and his brother have to move into the house that she grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. So think Everybody Hates Chris a little bit. And this is like the typical like YA middle grades kid where he doesn't feel like he fits in. He doesn't fit in with his friend group because he just left them all in the city he just came from. And then he doesn't fit in like in his family because he's the runt. Nobody's paying attention to him. Well, as he is like, enjoying, or as he's getting adjusted to this new town, he kind of uncovers a secret. And the secret is that there are monsters living in Bed-Stuy. And so he actually joins this sort of ragtag team of monster hunting kids. And I don't know, man, there's something about this that's just great. Like, maybe I'm a sucker for books with like, little brown kids, but I love how authentic the voices feel in the story. Now, I wasn't familiar with this creative team, and I tried to look them up, and it feels like this is their only work that they've done. But it turns out, I believe Nick Bruno actually ended up being the director on Spies in Disguise, that Will Smith animated movie from a few years back, and my daughter loved that movie. So anyway, the point is, it's a really fun book. Like I said, it's a graphic novel, and it's honestly a really quick read, but I've been enjoying like just breaking it up into these short chapters and just reading a little bit each night before bed in this verticals format. That's what I use the verticals format for, by the way. So check out Urban Legends. You can read it in the vertical format, or you can check it out in more traditional comic form as well on GlobalComix. Next up, I can't do any of these countdowns without shouting out the homies. Now, I've been, shouting from the rooftops that you guys should check out Fourth Wall Productions. My man Danny Quick and Morgan Iverson are doing great work over there. And now you can check out each of their series on GlobalComix for free. So, ACEBLADE and LUMBERJAX are now available on GlobalComix. You can read the first issues of each and try them out. So ACEBLADE, the Vegas vigilante, Terrell Durham, is basically a former MMA fighter who becomes a vigilante. We can call it like, a Batman-inspired figure, but he's got the katanas, like he's fighting crime in a world where like everybody else has superpowers and he's just got will and determination and skills with those blades. He finds himself going deeper and deeper into trouble each issue. ACEBLADE, I think, is on issue 9 right now, but you can try out issue 1 for free on GlobalComix. And then, of course, we're following that up with LUMBERJAX. It's written by my man Morgan Iverson. LUMBERJAX, I forget LUMBERJAX's real name, but he's basically a reluctant hero as well. He's got some powers, and he doesn't necessarily like to use them. But there's like this interesting, like sort of supernatural conspiracy going on at the same time as he's living in this town where there's been, corruption in the police department. There have been police shootings of unarmed people. And as, those cases play out in the courts, of course, the violence is going to spill into the streets and, all hell is going to break loose, so to speak. And so LUMBERJAX is there right in the middle of all the action, trying to get to the bottom of this supernatural conspiracy while dealing with real world issues as well. What's funny is, like, to me, LUMBERJAX kind of reads like a blaxploitation hero, and that's just great. But it's funny because that's just how Morgan talks. So I will say the dialogue in issue 1 is a little bit heavy. It's a little bit wordy. It does get better as the series goes on. But right now, you can check out issue 1 on GlobalComix and be on the lookout because they're actually doing a graphic novel for the first 4 issues of LUMBERJAX on Kickstarter very soon. Next up, another sort of 2-for-1. I kind of slept on the first wave of Ghost Machine titles. So I told you guys at the beginning of the year that Ghost Machine was some of the stuff that I was most excited about. I read the Ghost Machine special, but what I was really excited about from Ghost Machine was the Family Odysseys universe that's being spun out from Peter Tomasi and Francis Manapul and Peter Schnellberg. And, really, really cool stuff that they're doing with Hornsby and Halo and the Rockefellers. But as I record this video, those books still aren't out yet. They come out in November. But the books that have come out so far, like I said, I kind of slept on. So here recently, I've been on GlobalComix reading both Geiger and Rook Exodus. Now, Rook Exodus is written by Jeff Johns with art by Jason Fabok. And I gotta say, it's the standout to me. I also had read a little bit of Red Coat, but we'll talk about that in another video. So Rook Exodus is this book where it's this guy. Basically, long ago, like, we realized that the earth was polluted. There was wildfires. There were natural disasters happening all the time. And the earth just wasn't sustainable. So this company, I think called Better World, like, basically terraforms another planet, and they've got people coming to work on that planet. And well, when that planet shows signs of instability, well, the company pulls out, but they leave all of their workers. And the workers for this company, the way they work is they've actually got these helmets that allow them to kind of telepathically communicate with animals and sort of control them. And so there are all of these different rooks. Are they rooks? I think they're all rooks. But anyway, each guy with a helmet basically has a helmet that controls a different set of animals. So our guy, I keep calling him Rook. Anyway, I can't remember his name. But the point is, he controls birds. There's another guy that controls like pigs. There's another guy that controls bears. And they basically, there's this mission. They're trying to pick up the pieces and leave the planet. And there's a question of, should we leave this planet or should we stay and try to save it? Meanwhile, somebody with sinister motives is just out there trying to control everything for himself. And we are thrust into high stakes action in every issue. And I cannot overstate how amazing the art by Jason Fabok really is. Like, it's not even that the art is so much better than the story, but they work together so well. The art is just so good. Like, you got to look at it. Now, I felt like issue 1 was kind of a slow burn. It was an extra sized issue. It was like 50 pages. And I think for that reason, I didn't get into it when I was buying it physically because it was just kind of long and I was reading a whole lot of stuff. I'm so glad that I gave this a second chance on GlobalComix because I feel like the series really picks up in like the final pages of issue 1, which is technically like 2 issues worth of pages. And then in issue 2, it really thrusts you into the action. So you can check out, I think only the first 2 issues are available on GlobalComix, but you can check those out and then be on the lookout. There should be a trade paperback coming soon because we've gotten to like, I don't know, 6, 7 issues of all these titles. So Ghost Machine, those books are amazing. So I spent a whole lot of time talking about Rook Exodus, but I've also been enjoying Geiger, about this guy, Tariq Geiger, who in a nuclear accident finds himself with radioactive powers, and he's known as the Glowing Man. And all he wants to do is find a cure so that people can actually be near him again and he can kind of enjoy his family, assuming they're still out there. But of course, life isn't that simple. And so, as he's going through trying to find a cure, people take advantage of him. There's people trying to hunt him down. There are townspeople that are like, look, we know something about you. We know who you love. And if you don't help us out with our problems, we're going to get to the people that you love and care about. And so it's really interesting. Geiger's kind of an anti-hero who's always reluctant to do the right thing, but he's always doing the right thing. And so that's been a really good book as well. It's also written by Jeff Johns with art by Gary Frank. And just like with Rook Exodus, this book is just a treat to look at. So my bad, Ghost Machine. I was sleeping on Ghost Machine, but I'm really excited about the Family Odyssey stuff coming in Wave 2. But Wave 1 is nothing to sneeze at. So check them out. And the next book I want to shout out is a recent series from Boom Studios. This is Man's Best. Man's Best is written by Pornsak Pichetshote. I think that's how you say that name, with art by Jesse Lonergan. And this book is awesome. I've only read the first 2 issues so far, but Man's Best is about these 3 emotional support animals. And basically they're on this mission with their sort of scientist owners, if you will. And as they're on this mission, they are like training in like a danger room type scenario. They are learning to work together to take down threats. And then all of a sudden a threat appears after they sort of crash land on this strange planet. It feels like their humans have been captured. And so these 2 dogs and a cat are going to have to band together to rescue their humans. And there's a lot of action. There's a lot of heart in this book. I'm always a sucker for books with animal leads as well. So maybe that's it. But they've also got like cybernetic appendages. Like the dog has like mech arms and the cat has like a mech suit and the other dog has like a rocket that he flies with, a jetpack. So there's a lot of really fun things going on in this book. But like I said, there's a lot of heart. What I love about it just through the 2 issues I've read is that the animals feel like animals. I don't know how best to describe that, but it's like, how like, it's kind of like the Rugrats, where the Rugrats are these super seemingly advanced babies, but then there are certain things that they just get wrong because they're babies and they don't know. So it's like, I don't know, when they say a sketty instead of spaghetti, or when they call like super mundane objects like spaceships and stuff. Anyway, these dogs have that same sort of stuff going on, and that's really fun. I keep saying these dogs. There is a cat in the book as well, but really love it. And I don't know. I feel like I'm in for a heartbreaking episode just based on how people have been talking about this series in reviews earlier in the year. But I'm just now jumping on the train, and you can as well in the GlobalComix app. And finally, the last book I'm going to shout out today is called Year Zero. Year Zero is written by Benjamin Percy of Wolverine and X-Force fame, and the art is by Ramon Rosanas with colors by Lee Lowridge. Now, Year Zero is basically a zombie apocalypse book. And when you hear, oh, it's a zombie book, you think The Walking Dead. You might think like, I don't know, Train to Busan or whatever. And this book is very different from those things, at least so far. This is another book that I have been strictly reading in the GlobalComix verticals format. And I like it because, again, it kind of divides it down into these short chapters. And the way these chapters are laid out, you're getting these vignettes because this is a take on how a bunch of different people and different types of people approach there being a zombie apocalypse. And so we're getting like little slivers of information about this like assassin dude and like this kid that seems to be a killer and all these different things, right? And I've been enjoying like, just sort of the slow walk nature of the story when I take it one chapter at a time. So this is a very different tone than, say, Urban Legends from Humanoids, which is aimed at YA or young adult readers. Year Zero is definitely like a teen plus book. It definitely has more mature tones, but this is, again, if I'm not in like the super friendly, happy-go-lucky vibe of Urban Legends, then I'll read this one right before bed. And this feels like, I don't know, it feels like when your parents would read like novels as a kid, maybe your grandparents, I don't know, whoever was actually reading books. This kind of feels like that. Like this is that adult entertainment. Anyway, I digress. The point is, this has been really good so far. And I know that Year Zero's got a lot of chapters. I'll be reading that one for quite some time. And maybe I'll do a review when I get like through volume 1's worth of chapters. So that'll be cool. But that's the last book I wanted to shout out. So I said I was going to shout out 5. I think I shouted out 2, 4. It's like 7. 7 books that you need to read on GlobalComix, or just if you're a fan of indies in general. So like I said, every book that I covered is available on the GlobalComix app. So if you use the link down below and go to and use the code GCXBJKicks, once again, you will save 33% on your annual gold pass. That gets you, all you can read access to everything in their library. And if you don't decide to buy a gold pass, then you can browse their selection. There's plenty of free books available. And then there's others that are available behind a paywall. So once again, huge shout out to GlobalComix. I'm crazy excited about some of these DC books coming to the app. And I'll see you guys in another video soon. Until then, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.